A battle of David versus Goliath. It's the Nashville Knights versus the Denver Dream. Next.
Nothing like a strong woman that takes what you want. That's powerful.
We make history when you step on that football field.
Now's the time to release that anger, that pain on them.
Do you believe in miracles?
They don't deserve no mercy. Them getting put down or they get laid down.
The most successful people in life have failed. We have failed.
Everything we've ever asked for is right in front of us right now. So let's get it.
A look at the world-famous Broadway Street in Nashville, Tennessee, site of LFL Football Night. Welcome inside the broadcast booth. An interesting matchup tonight. The Nashville Knights coming in atop of the Eastern Conference, host the Denver Dream at 0-1, although Denver's still very much so alive in the Western Conference playoff picture. Let's talk about some personnel moves tonight. You've got Jade Randall, the 2017 league MVP for Nashville, will be part of the lineup tonight. She missed the last game, is expected to be suited and ready tonight. For Denver, they continue to be without the services of Bria Quintana, who had the disastrous leg break earlier in the season versus Omaha. And tonight, I welcome in my broadcast partner, Bobby Hugo. We've got one of the biggest lopsided odds of any game this season. The Nashville Knights come in an 18.5-point favorite. Now, do you think Denver can overcome that 18.5 points?
It's really going to be tough without the heart and soul of that lineup. You mentioned Bria Quintana. She's out with that leg injury. She was pretty much this whole team. Some other players are going to have to step up tonight. We thought it was going to be the quarterback, Brittany Perea, but no, she's not going to start. They're going to start Mary Towner. I'm not sure why, because she can't scramble out of the pocket with that big Nashville rush. Perea can move around. Towner's getting the start. She's a pocket quarterback. Whoever's in the game has to get the ball to Lindsay Fields. She's the most physical player on that team without Quintana in there. She can move the sticks. Now, what quarterback plays? We see it's Perea now? I don't know.
Yeah, Perea's not going to get the start. It is going to be Mary Towner. An interesting last-second development and decision by head coach Adam Johnson. And talking about this Denver offense, folks, they've got to find a way to move the sticks. And as we talked about it, Brittany Perea gave him that opportunity, at least in the opener versus Omaha. We'll see if Mary Towner can do that. Defensively for Denver, if you're going to look at any bright spot, it's got to be the play of Nicole Curry, the free safety, one of the ball hawks, really the only pure tacklers on that defense. She's going to need to step up. Now, she's going to be up against a pretty powerful Nashville offense, as we've talked about. They put up the yards and the points. Is there any weakness to this high-powered Nashville offense?
There really is not any weaknesses. If there is, the only thing I can see is the quarterback, KK Matheny. They won the championship last year. A lot of times after you win the championship, the Legends Cup, you get off season, get a little bigger. She didn't come in good shape like she was last year. She's not scrambling the same way. So if I was Denver, I would bring every blitz at her possible because she can't move like she used to. That's the only shot they have.
Yeah, and I think that would be a big concern. And getting back to the free agent pickups for Nashville, we've talked about them at exhaustion all season. You know, you got Stevie Schnorr, Dominique Malloy, Jade Randall, Danielle Hawkins. The issue has been all these ladies come from various parts of the country and get very limited practice time here in Nashville with the team. Now, you could possibly get away with that in the regular season when you're playing the likes of the Denver Dream and the Omaha Heart, even Austin, who's playing pretty good football. But you can get away with it in the regular season. I think what would concern me if I'm Danica Brace is the postseason. You're bound to see either Atlanta or Chicago, and they're very different. You're going to need your horses at these practices to be competitive in the postseason.
Absolutely. As an ex-quarterback in Miami, I know how important the practices are. Yes, they can get away with it. You mentioned this is probably the most talented team in the LFL. They're deep at every position, but the football gods have a way to come against you in the playoffs against tough teams like Atlanta or Chicago. Somehow, Danica Brace has to get this team together more often going into the playoffs.
Music City is ready for the kickoff of LFL Football Night. It's the Nashville Knights hosting the Denver Dream. Next! Welcome back to LFL Football Night, a beautiful summer's night in Nashville, Tennessee, as Denver's offense will go to work first. Brittany Pereira not getting the start at quarterback. We met with her.
I was able to show my mobility in the Omaha game. I didn't show my arm strength, which that was a disappointment on my part. But ultimately, it is the coach's decision, and it's out of my control. So
you got to wonder how this affects the team. Pereira, we thought was going to start. Last minute, Towner gets the nod.
And Towner completing early, connecting with Kelly Roque on a 4-yard completion as we meet Denver's offense.
Michelle Look, tight end.
Lindsay Q, wide receiver.
Sophie Miller, center. Rachel Albrecht, tight end. Kelly Roque, wide receiver.
Elizabeth K. Mack, running back.
Mary Towner, quarterback.
It's all going to come down to Towner if she can complete some passes against this tough Nashville defense.
And connecting again. So Towner and this Denver offense coming out with fireworks, this time connecting with Lindsay Fields.
This is what Mary Towner gives you. She's a pocket quarterback. She can throw the ball hard down the field. She threw it into coverage, but they're moving the football early on Nashville.
That'll set up a 1st and 10 at the Nashville 18. And you could see a look of bewilderment on the sideline of Nashville. Nobody expected this kind of success early from the Denver Dream.
Hey, Coach Danica Brace, she was scared of a start like this because this is not Chicago or Atlanta. They thought they could plow over Denver.
Towner to Fields. Unbelievable. The Denver Dream score and complete 3 consecutive passes.
This is incredible. The underdog can quickly become the wonder dog. Nashville, a heavy favorite, the first series of the game, they go right down the field and score. Unbelievable.
And you could hear that was a pass interference on Nashville, obviously will be declined. So touchdown Denver.
Head coach Adam Johnson told me the game plan was going to be keep it on the ground tonight. Obviously, him and offensive coordinator Saul Robinson got together before the game and switched quarterbacks and went to an all-passing set.
Denver electing to line up for a 2-point conversion. So they'll go from about the 3-yard line. A quick start for this offense. Rolling left, Towner. That is Whitney Palmer, the nightmare. We talked about Towner struggling in the pocket. She doesn't have the mobility that Pereira has.
Not at all. I can tell already defensive coordinator Howard from Nashville is going to start putting heat on Mary Towner because she cannot move at all in the pocket.
You literally sat like this and you watch her just go across. You got to just knock her on her ass.
Head coach Danica Brace getting on her defense. A defense that gave up a 3-play, 35-yard drive. That's a look at KK Matheny's 2018 numbers. The #1 ranked passer in the league. That's Dominique Malloy. Lightning in a bottle on that jet sweep. A gain of 20 yards.
Wow, Dominique Malloy showing why she's the most dangerous running back in the LFL. Look how quick she gets around the corner and gets through the secondary. The fastest player in the league, outrunning her blockers.
And how about the blocking up front by Stevie Schnorr and Jade Randall leading the way for Malloy. 1st and 10 now from the Denver 15. Back to pass to Palmer. So Palmer making an impact early on both sides of the field. Really used on the ground in 2018, but can be leveraged as a pass receiving tight end.
This team is so potent and so talented. Danica Brace said she doesn't get a lot of publicity, but Palmer's got as much talent as anybody.
This time completing to Jade Randall, who can't escape the arm tackle of Nicole Curry.
KK Matheny and Jade Randall are finally clicking. It took them a while when they got Randall into town, but now they become one of the most potent passing combinations in the LFL.
And that pass was a little behind Randall. Had she let her, Randall would have scored. That's a sight no Denver team wants to see. The leader of that defense, Nicole Curry, going down, and we'll take a media timeout as Denver leads it 6-0. Back to LFL football night. A surprising 6-0 lead for Denver. But now Nashville on the doorstep. Handoff. That's Jade Randall. Randall stretching across the goal line. Touchdown, Nashville.
This is why she was the MVP of the league. She stopped in the backfield, then gets through 3 tacklers on the goal line, does a Cirque du Soleil move, bending her back and getting the 6 points for Nashville. Just an incredible play by Randall.
Shea Bellerion of Denver had Randall for a 2-yard loss, but the physical power of Jade Randall, which we don't talk about much, just overpowered that Denver defense.
I like how offensive coordinator Jack Kiley put in the hurry-up offense for Nashville.
A little toss left to the Bulls, Stevie Schnorr. And that is the Nashville team we expected, regaining the lead at 8-6.
This Nashville offense just told Denver, not so fast. Yeah, you scored quick, but we'll score quicker.
That is how you take the wind out of the sails of a heavy underdog, the Denver Dream. As we're going to get another look at Mary Towner, who looked impressive early, going 3 for 3 in that previous drive and that touchdown strike to Lindsey Fields.
We both question this move of starting Towner because she cannot move back there, and she's going to get some serious heat tonight. But she started out hot. She looked like Elway on the first drive. We'll see if she can keep it up.
So a 1st and 10 for Mary Towner from the shotgun. Looks to the flat and complete. That pass complete to Rachel Albrecht. So look up at the scoreboard and you'll see Mary Towner 4 for 4 to start this game.
Great read by Towner. Against a hard rush like that, you released a tight end. They've scouted what Seattle did against Nashville, and that's how to beat them on that strong rush. A quick pass to the tight end. They're moving the football.
So that was an 11-yard completion. Takes the ball to the Nashville 24-yard line. If there's an element of this team for Nashville that can be exposed, it's their defense. Coming in ranked number 5 in the league. A high snap back to Towner. And that kind of threw the rhythm off. She had a wide open Lindsey Fields.
The snap always throws the play off when it's bad like that. Michelle looked, the ball was high, threw the timing off. Towner had to adjust. Could have been 6 more points. She couldn't get the ball up.
I'm not sure if that was intended for Kelly Roque or Lindsey Fields, both in the same area.
She was going for Roque deep. The ball just became a duck because she had no footwork on it. She couldn't get the ball deep down the field.
So a 2nd and 10. Ball remains at the Nashville 24. From the shotgun, a crossing pattern. Nearly intercepted by Dominique Malloy. This Nashville defense being tested early. Let's meet their starters.
Dominique Malloy, cornerback.
Netta Carter, corner. Stevie Schnorr, linebacker.
Jade Randall, safety.
Molly Richardson, safety.
Whitney Palmer, defensive end.
Danielle Hawkins, defensive end.
That is one talented defensive lineup, but Jade Randall leads that whole team on offense. We talk about her as a receiver, but she's one of the best in the league on defense.
A 3rd and 10. Nene Gleaves, who's really made an impression on the offensive side of the ball, also blossoming into a pretty good cornerback.
Head coach Danica Bray said she should be up for Rookie of the Year. Gleaves can play offense and defense and has blazing speed.
So this Denver offense now faces a daunting 4th and 10, electing to call a timeout and talk about the strategy. Let's go down to the field.
Listen, you guys, come on. Are you tired? Okay, you gotta get back there. You guys are going so, because their splits are so wide, you guys are going outside so wide. Go fucking through her body.
That'll take us to our media timeout as Nashville rallies 8-6.
Just rip straight through her shoulder and just going there. You guys are going face to face with them, or you're trying to get outside and work her. You can bull rush anybody in the whole fucking league.
Head coach Danica Brace encouraging that defense that now has to defend a 4th and 10. Ball at the Nashville 24.
As hot as Mary Towner started out, 3 for 3, she's now incomplete on her last 3 because of those bad snaps.
Another poor snap. Towner, that time looking for Vanna Medrano. That'll fall incomplete as this Denver offense turns it over on downs.
It's the little things on an offense that will tear you apart. The snaps by Michelle, look, they're off just a little bit. They're making Towner jump outside to the tackle, taking her eyes off the downfield receiver, and she's not even close.
KK Matheny, who responded to the previous Denver score, the offense now set up very nicely at the Nashville 24.
Offensive coordinator Jack Riley put the hurry-up offense, and it's right in the KK Matheny's wheelhouse. She looks great so far.
Another jet sweep being set up, but it looked like that front line was way offside. This should be a false start on Whitney Palmer.
No, same play. You've got to just be fundamentally sound. You don't move until the ball goes. This is why I talked about playing down to our level competition. We will only beat our fucking selves. You guys are way more disciplined than this.
Head coach Danica Brace not happy at the focus of her team early on, at least. A 1st and 15 ball backed up to the Nashville 19. Fakes the jet sweep wide open. Jade Randall drops what would have been a sure touchdown. You don't see that often.
Wow, you might want to take a snapshot of that. You never see this. This is a leg MVP wide open, maybe too open. The ball is thrown perfectly, and she just mishandles it. Unbelievable.
2nd and 15. Delayed handoff to Whitney Palmer. Good tackle. Number 13, Isaiah Walker, totally anticipated that inside handoff.
Head coach Danica Brace was correct. They didn't come to play tonight. The little things, Randall dropping the ball, the offsides, they don't look like a championship team right now.
So that'll back them up to the 18-yard line. They started this from the 24. That is Matheny looking down the field. And holding on this time, that is Jade Randall redeeming herself on a 29-yard completion.
Wow, this is string music. Beautiful pass by KK, 101. She looks off the safety, came back to the opposite side. There's nobody that can handle Jade Randall, 101. She flew by the cornerback.
Yeah, Tiara Brown, complete mismatch on the outside versus Jade Randall. And now this Nashville offense has a 1st and goal at the Denver 3-yard line. From the shotgun, easy release. Touchdown, Nashville.
Even though they're making a lot of little mistakes, they look like a well-oiled machine these last couple plays. A release play right off the line, wide open. KK makes an excellent read. 4 points for Nashville.
Danielle Hawkins, one of the more sure-handed receivers, better known as an all-star or all-fantasy defensive end, also a good option as a tight end.
They are talented across the board. Everybody up front can catch the football on that Nashville line.
The 2-point attempt. Toss right, Dominique Malloy. That'll extend Nashville's lead to 16-6.
Malloy simply has an appetite for touchdowns. Her speed, there's nobody on Denver even close. She has world-class speed. No way to get to her. Great stalk block down the field, opens it up, and she walks in the end zone.
That looked like Jade Randall just pancaked Tiara Brown, opening up a lane for Dominique Malloy.
So far, this Denver defense looks really porous with a lot of holes in it.
So Mary Towner being tested once again from her own 15-yard line. Back to drop across the middle. And now she's forcing it a bit. That was intended for Kelly Roquet.
Defensive coordinator Howard, he knows they're not even trying to run the football. He came with a full blitz on Towner, and she wasn't close again. You have to run the football a little bit and mix it up.
The challenge is Denver does not have an ace running back. In fact, their starting running back that was penciled in, Liz Kamack, did not even make this trip. They've got Brittany Pereira in the backfield.
Perea can run the football. You have to mix it up, even if you don't get a lot of yardage. If not, Nashville's going to tee up on them all night on defense.
So a 2nd and 10, another high snap back to Towner. Towner down the field, connecting. That is Kelly Roquet. Not touched and walks into the end zone. They're going to rule this a touchdown, Denver.
Wow, a rookie mistake by Nene Gleaves. Great back shoulder throw by Towner. Caught the ball, went on the ground. Gleaves did not touch her. She got up and ran in the end zone. That's going to stand.
We have a challenge on the play by Nashville.
So Nashville going to challenge that she was touched. Although from what we saw, it looked like Gleaves just gave up on the play here.
Right now, she's on the ground. Gleaves did nothing. Just go over and touch her, and that's it. She walks away.
And I think she realizes it a little late when she sees Roquet get up and just make a mad dash for the end zone. Like you said, that is a rookie mistake. This shouldn't be that long of a challenge.
Just when we were pumping Gleaves up to be all fantasy, she makes a bonehead play like that.
Now we're going to get the call, the official word down on the field.
Upon further review, play stands. Touchdown.
Indeed, that is going to be a Denver Dream touchdown. And partner, who expected this? We're almost done with the first quarter, and Denver is within 4 points of a powerhouse like Nashville.
We were questioning changing the quarterback to Mary Towner, changing the game plan, but so far they're hanging with Nashville.
So Towner in the offense now lining up for a 2-point conversion. A full backfield. That is number 4, Vanna Medro, but they're not going to use her. A bull rush up the middle by Mary Towner, and why not use her size? 5'5", 160 pounds.
That's exactly what offensive coordinator Saul Anderson is doing right there. He knows he has a quarterback with the build of a Ben Roethlisberger, and he uses that weight just to bull in the end zone.
I'm not even sure Towner had a lead blocker. She just bulldozed over Nene Gleaves as Denver, an 18.5-point underdog, now within 2 points of Nashville. A 1st and 10 from the 15, toss left. Dominique Malloy continuing to have a huge impact. That was a 13-yard carry.
Denver's defense is quickly finding out what it's like to try to tackle a tornado. She is so fast. Great downfield block again by Danielle Hawkins. They're moving the football again.
Nashville has the league's number 2 and number 5 leading rushers with Schnorr and Malloy. Going back to Malloy, this time on a screen. Complete for 4 yards.
Dominique Malloy, she is the total athlete. We know what she does as a runner, but she can catch the football just like that out of the backfield.
A 9.2 average per carry. That average is high because of those jet sweeps primarily. That's her counterpart, Stevie Schnorr, on an 8-yard carry. Let's meet Nashville's offense.
Nicole Phillips, center.
Dominique Malloy, wide receiver.
Danielle Hawkins, tight end.
Whitney Palmer, tight end.
Jade Randall, wide receiver.
Stevie Schnorr, running back.
KK Matheny, quarterback.
That team is led by KK Matheny. She makes everybody around her play better, and she keeps that team like glue together.
A 1st and goal completion back to Schnorr, as that will bring us to the end of the first quarter. And we'll take a media timeout. Denver looking good early, and Nashville rallying 16-14.
LFL Mobile, giving you access to the gridiron goddesses of the LFL with exclusive photos, videos, live game reporting, and fan promotions. LFL Mobile. Download on your Android or iPhone.
Back to LFL football night, and that is a familiar face to LFL fans and Seattle Mist fans. That is Chris Michelson on the sideline for Nashville.
Good to finally see him come out in public and admit that he's helping out the Nashville offense.
Yeah, he's been involved with this team since the offseason. I guess now going on record with it. Interesting. 2nd and goal from the shotgun, rolling right into the flat and out of the hands of Danielle Hawkins.
KK Matheny, that looked like the old KK Matheny. Came out of the pocket, got some heat, threw a strike. Hawkins should have had that one for a touchdown.
Nashville very content with this high-tempo, hurry-up offense. Now a 3rd and goal from the Denver 1. Back to the ground, to the bull. Stevie Schnorr bulldozing over Shea Bellion for a 1-yard touchdown.
Wow, the Bull is making this Denver defense feel like they're a china shop. Bull in a china shop, going through everything. Bam! Touchdown, Nashville.
Bellion had no chance there. Stevie Schnorr just a mismatch out in the open field against just about anybody.
This Denver defense, they're seeing everything tonight and stopping nothing.
Surprisingly, a defense ranked 2nd statistically in the league, but we'll get into that in a second. That's an extra point attempt. Nobody even contesting or touching Dominique Malloy as Nashville converts once again, now up 24-14.
Yeah, that statistic is very misleading about the Denver defense. The reason they're number 2 is because they only defend short fields where the other team has short amount of yardage until they get in the end zone.
Now let's take that a step further. That is because the offense routinely goes 4 and out on their side of the field, leaving very short fields for their defense to defend.
Right, they always try to go for it on 4th down instead of punting, and you're right, the other team has it in the red zone.
That's a quick slant going through the hands of Lindsey Fields. We saw this offense come up super red hot, has really cooled down here.
Well, that's the problem. If you don't mix in a run here and there, you have to be very, very accurate passing, and since that first drive, they are absolutely not hot at all.
Yeah, when you don't have a pass receiving threat on the outside, your best option being Lindsey Fields. And Lindsey Fields, give her all the credit in the world. She doesn't even break the top 20 in pass receiving options in this league.
Exactly. That's why you have to have some kind of running game, or at least attempt to.
A 2nd and 10 look off, trying the flat to Rachel Albrecht. Once again, falling incomplete.
He's falling backwards. Quarterback Mary Towner falling backward, no technique. And when you fall backward, the ball flies high like it just did.
And we're seeing a lot of receivers in the same area. So perhaps the passing tree is also not being executed correctly.
Well, she's throwing the ball real quick to avoid the rush. I like that, but the accuracy is not there.
A 3rd and 10. Ball remains at the 15 of Denver. Going down the field wide open and overshooting her intended target. That was intended for Sophie Miller, the center.
As I always say, a quarterback throws from the feet up. The footwork by Mary Towner was just horrible. He threw that ball again going backwards and overthrew a touchdown. Should have been 6 points for Denver.
Now keep in mind the reason they pulled Brittany Perea from the quarterback position is because they thought Mary Towner was a better pure passer. We saw it early, but it's completely gone off the rails now. 4th and 10. And they're going to go for it. Towner trying to break through arm tackles. Way too much athleticism up front for Nashville with Nene Gleaves and Whitney Palmer all over Mary Towner.
Defensive coordinator Howard for Nashville right now, he's pinning their earbacks and just going right after Towner.
And you can hear, we've got Towner mic'd up. She's getting beat up down there. And I'm not sure why you don't punt when you're backed up and you're still in this game.
Well, look where Nashville's going to get the football. We just spoke about this. They're in a short zone going in.
That is head coach Adam Johnson of Denver, who's had anything but a stellar start to his coaching career in the LFL and blew an opportunity there. If you punt the ball, you make this Nashville defense try to drive the length of the field with a very good punter in Lindsey Fields. Instead, Nashville takes over from the 10. That's Matheny trying to buy time, throw across her body, and at the feet of Stevie Schnorr.
Great play by Raphael French. She came in strong and absolutely beat the center, Nicole Phillips, to the quarterback. KK Matheny had to go out. Luckily, she didn't get picked off.
You could see the look of disappointment on Stevie Schnorr's face. She wanted that one, had open grass in front of her. Instead, it'll be a 2nd and goal. Ball remains at the Denver 10-yard line.
We spoke about that in pregame. Put pressure on KK Matheny. It works.
A 2nd and goal, empty back. Another sweep to Malloy. Touchdown, Dominique Malloy.
You have to blame that on head coach Adam Johnson for Denver. Anytime Malloy comes in motion like that jet motion, she's getting the football. And she's one of the fastest players in the league. She gets by everybody so quick, got afterburners right in the end zone.
This Denver defense is whiffing on tackles left and right. That is the defensive coordinator, Marcus Janelle, trying to shuffle in new personnel and find a mix that can work. But they're really struggling against the #1 offense in the LFL.
This is starting to look like the Denver we saw in 2017. Nobody tackled.
This will be an extra point attempt, wide open. Whitney Palmer. Denver, just like that, now trailing it 32-14. Nashville starting to assert its dominance and separating from the pack.
Hey, 6 minutes and 30 seconds of your best football right now. One more turnover. They're going to try to put it back in the air, and I need a pick. I need a pick 6 right now.
Welcome you back to LFL football night. That is Nashville head coach Danica Brace. Like a shark that smells blood and water, she knows she's got this Denver team on the ropes and wants to put them away here.
That's how she was as a player, one of the greatest LFL players ever. She's doing that as a coach right now. She knows she's up 18 points, 1 stop here, 1 pick, and this game's over.
Let's see if Denver goes back to the run game, as Mary Towner in this offense has really struggled lately in the passing game. 1st and 10 from the Denver 15. No, they're going to look for a quick slant. That one is caught by Kelly Roquet, gaining 4 yards.
If you're Nashville's defensive ends, you're going to pin your ears back and go right for the quarterback. They're not even attempting to run the football.
You could see a committee of coaches on the sideline for Denver. I'm sure they're trying everything right now. They cannot afford to go 4 and out here once again. 2nd and 6, ball at the Denver 19. Quick screen. Again to Roquet, and this time for 3 yards. So maybe they're content with the short passing game as a substitution or a lack of a run game.
Quite frankly, it's baffling. Before the game, Adam Johnson, the head coach, told me he was going to run the football, and they're doing completely opposite.
This Nashville defense urging on this crowd on a 3rd and 3. Denver really is in a make-or-break situation here. They're down 32-14. They've got to get a score or at least not turn it over on this side of the field on this drive. Towner under center from the Denver 22, and we've got a penalty here. This could be a delay of game on Denver.
Delay of game, offense, 5-yard penalty.
Yeah, Towner is clueless out there. She is not even looking at the play clock.
For all you LFL fans, just compare the quarterback play of KK Matheny, who won the Legends Cup last year, and Mary Towner. It's night and day. It's high school and pro. I mean, she needs to study the game more.
A 3rd and 8, ball at the 17. Back to throw and behind her intended target, Rachel Albrecht. And guess what? This Denver offense once again facing a 4th down.
For an offense that started so hot, Browner was on fire the first series. Now they're rattled. They look disheveled. They don't know what they're doing.
And the option to punt it no longer exists. In the LFL, an offense can punt the ball if they're backed up inside their own 15-yard line. Denver's at the 17, so they're going to have to go for it. And that's kind of a give-up play. Why handoff to Rachel Albrecht, and Stevie Schnorr completely smelled it out.
We've been asking for them to run the football all night long, and they do it on 4th and 8 when you should throw the football. Offensive coordinator Saul Anderson, he looks confused right now.
Even Rachel Albrecht looked like she wanted no part of that 4th down play. As Matheny and company now taking over in great field position, we sat down with KK.
Well, for people that say that we would have one of the easier schedules in the league, I would say I find that entirely untrue. We played Austin, which is the #1 seed in the Western Conference right now, and then Seattle, great organization. They have 11 veterans on the team. We found our rookies very tested in that match, and you know, we're excited to play either Atlanta or a Chicago team. We know the caliber of athletes, but we feel confident in as long as we do Nashville Knights football, doesn't matter who we line up against.
KK Matheny is right about that. She can't make up the schedule, but they do have a weaker schedule compared to other teams. They have a talented lineup, probably more talented than anybody in the league. It's up to Danica Brace to keep this team playing at top cylinders.
Yeah, because they're going to eventually cross the paths of the Atlanta Steam and the Chicago Bliss. The Knights finish the season here against Denver, and then July 7th against the Omaha Heart. And that looks to be a false start. That was clearly on Whitney Palmer.
False start, offense, 5-yard penalty. We played it down.
I believe that's the second penalty thus far on Palmer. So if there's a concern for Danica Brace, like you said, it's got to be the focus of this offense. A reverse now to Randall. Matheny leading the way. Touchdown, Nashville.
The league MVP, Jade Randall, showing why she has a warning label on her jersey. And what a call. That's what a real offensive coordinator does. They set up the play all night long with Malloy coming in motion, taking the handoff. Everybody goes after the Malloy. She pitches it back to Randall, who's one of the greatest athletes in the league, and she goes in for 6.
Yeah, you talked about a comparison earlier when you were saying Mary Towner is more of a high school quarterback. KK Matheny is an LFL level quarterback. I would say the same for Saul Anderson, the offensive coordinator for Denver. And let's be honest, the real offensive coordinator for Nashville is Chris Michelson. He's the one who drew up the scheme, and they're executing it perfectly.
You are correct. We've seen that scheme many times from Michelson in Seattle. You set up with one play to another play and another play coming off of that. That's what Denver does not do. They have no scheme at all on offense. Michelson is eating them up right now.
So the extra point attempt is good as well. Just like that, Nashville has posted 40 points to Denver's 14.
This is where Denver has to answer. They have to come up with something, not just dropping back and throwing the football. They have no offensive scheme. That's why they can't come up with anything.
That is not a look of confidence. You got a close look there at Mary Towner. That was a look of concern as she's down 40-14 and takes over from her own 15-yard line. This time trying to buy time with their legs. Bulldozing over the Nashville defender, but not able to get out of the backfield. That'll be a 3-yard loss.
Getting back to no offensive system. This is weak. Right now you're dropping back, your quarterback just running out of the pocket trying to run. That looks like a play that you never even saw before in anybody's playbook. If you look at other teams around the league, you live off of play action, reverse pass. Denver right now has nothing going on offensively.
That was a 3-yard loss, setting up a 2nd and 13. From the shotgun, looking over the middle and overshooting Lindsey Fields. Mary Towner now looking a little nervous in the pocket as Nashville's really getting after her.
They're teeing up on her right now. She's taking hits. She's getting rid of the football, but she's throwing the ball, falling back, and every one of her passes is sailing over receivers' heads. She's not even close right now. How long do you keep her in the game? We thought she was not going to be the starting quarterback. How long do you keep her in?
That is a question we posed, and we'll talk about it maybe in the second half to head coach Adam Johnson. Knowing that Brittany Pereira did have some success, how long before you pull Towner if you guys struggle? And clearly, Towner is now rattled and very inconsistent. That will take us to our 2-minute warning as Nashville is up big, 40-14 on the play of Jade Randall. Back for the final 2 minutes of the first half, and a look at the body language on that Denver sideline really says it all.
You look at number 11, Rachel Albrecht, the quarterback, Mary Towner. She looks like Debbie Downer on the sideline.
4th and 13. This will be a punt from Fields. Nice looking catch and run back by Stevie Schnorr. Schnorr is tough in regular situations, but if you give her the ball full head of steam in the open field, you better get out of her way.
Wow. You really have to hand it to Michelle Look for even having the guts to go head-to-head with the bull.
It was a nice punt by Lindsey Fields, 23 yards, but the return was 17, so a net of only 6 yards.
I love that Danica Brace, the head coach, instead of having one with the speed demons back there like Dominique Malloy, the fastest girl in the league, she has the bull returning punts.
That is an interesting personnel decision. 1st and 10, ball at the Denver 18. So once again, great field position for Nashville, and why not? That's Dominique Malloy on another jet sweep. The smallest player on the field, but perhaps the feistiest. That was an 8-yard carry.
She is fun to watch. She is so good that the opponent's families, they come to watch her play.
I'll tell you what, Dominique Malloy has bounced around the league a little bit. Started out playing with the Las Vegas Sin, some time obviously most recently with the Seattle Mist. She just loves the game and is willing to travel anywhere to play it.
And she's playing with some of the top talent in the league. What a combination with her speed and then the power of the bull.
A 2nd and 2, ball at the Denver 10. In the backfield, that's Nene Gleaves. Toss left into the end zone for another Nashville touchdown.
Wow, they say a good jockey needs a fast horse. Danica Brace has a stable full of fast horses. Unbelievable speed to the outside. And again, Danielle Hawkins, watch the lead block out front. There's nobody there. She seals it back to make sure nobody's there. Watch this, bam! Great block by Hawkins, touchdown Nashville.
The secondary of Denver, not only are they not able to cover, they're not coming up and being physical on the run at all.
There's absolutely nobody coming up to make contact.
Now the extra point attempt, ball at the Denver 3-yard line as Nashville leads it 46-14. Another release again to Danielle Hawkins. Make it a 48-point score for Nashville.
Raphael French completely faked out. They had a trip set to the right. Everybody went to the right side. KK Matheny came back to a wide open. Hawkins in the end zone. They're right now destroying Denver.
I mean, look at the Nashville offense. They started from the 18 of Denver this time. The previous drive from the 19 of Denver. And previous to that from the 10 of Denver. You cannot realistically ask a defense to defend such a short field against a high-powered offense like Nashville.
Not at all. The Nashville offense is clicking. The way Chris Michelson is calling plays, even though he is retired, can he be up for Assistant Coach of the Year?
I think he wins the award flat out. 1st and 10 from the Denver 15. This is Towner again throwing into traffic. Great coverage that time by Jade Randall.
At some point, head coach Adam Johnson might want to just take this to the half and regroup instead of trying to score points. Right now, there's no rhyme or rhythm to this offense. Mary Towner not even close to Fields on any of these passes. They might want to just regroup.
Yeah, Nashville's got 2 timeouts here, 55 seconds. That is plenty of time if you go 4 and out here for that Nashville offense again. Now a 2nd and 10, Towner back to drop on the right side. That looked like Shea Barrion had gotten behind the defense, but again, the accuracy of Mary Towner is off.
We got to wonder when offensive coordinator Saul Anderson is going to make the switch at quarterback. Right now, Tanner's not even close. She was open. She made the right read, but it was not even close to being completed.
3rd and 10, ball at the Denver 15. Getting back to my earlier point, 50 seconds remaining, 2 timeouts. Denver's got to get out of this half. This time a screen, complete. We haven't seen much of that lately. That is complete to Rachel Albrecht. Albrecht, a nice option at tight end.
They tried that early in the game, and it was successful. Because they're blitzing every play, you slip out the tight end to the flat, she's wide open.
Here we go, a 4th and 2, a deep drop for Towner. Nothing doing, the pocket collapsing. Towner had no opportunity That was poor blocking up front by Denver.
Every game, Danielle Hawkins, she comes to eat, she comes to play. Huge pressure on Tanner. She just lights her up.
I got more bad news if you're a Denver fan. There's 38 seconds remaining, and Nashville has a timeout. And by the way, they've got the ball at your 13-yard line.
And you know how offensive coordinator Chris Michelson is. After a change of possession like that, you throw a shock play and you try to score quick.
1st and 10, ball at the Denver 13 from the shotgun. This is Matheny back to pass to the end zone. That is Jade Randall's 3rd touchdown of the first half. Tell me she does not make an impact, missing the previous game and coming back with a vengeance.
She is a game changer, and she's a great bowler too, knocking down the whole team.
Jade Randall on both sides of the ball, just purely dominant.
Great play selection. They fake it right there to Malloy. Everybody goes toward Malloy. It's the play where Randall dropped it early in the game. Matheny a strike, Randall in the end zone. Right now, Matheny and Randall are putting a beat down on Denver.
That Denver secondary has the IQ of a turtle playing football. Isaiah Walker was completely out of position and resembled the movement of a turtle.
I have not seen a turtle play football in a while, but you are absolutely correct.
They're wearing orange tonight as Nashville lines up for the extra point attempt. They're going to go for 2. That is Randall in motion. Handoff to Malloy. And Malloy breaking through arm tackles. I tell you what, nobody on that Denver defense wants to tackle tonight. And Nashville has racked up its most points of the season through one half of football, now leading it 56-14.
Wow, it always seems like Denver's road to success is under construction. It's never finished, and here we go again, 56 points in one half. Don't you think they just take it to the house, or you think they make 4 quick strikes?
Honestly, if I was the Denver offense, I'd take a knee right here, and it looks like they're maybe lining up for that just to get into the locker room and regroup. They're going to hand it off to Brittany Perea. Look at Perea in the open field. We talked about it, and we're kind of beating a dead horse, but Perea at quarterback at least gives them an opportunity for positive yardage.
Or just give her the ball like that at running back. That was a great-looking play, a great run, and put the defense back on their heels. You do play-action passes off of that, which Mary Towner will look better. Just do that.
So a 1st and 10 back to Perea. This time Whitney Palmer all over it. Nashville, very impressive through 20 minutes of play. Lead this one 56-14. Despite Denver's hot start, it was Dominique Malloy, Jade Randall, and the Nashville defense responding. Back with halftime festivities after this.
They're not better than you. You're killing yourself because your girls aren't doing their assignment. That's not that you're not tackling. They're killing you because you're not doing your assignment.
What was a promising start for the Denver Dream turned into a nightmare as they trail this one 56-14. We welcome you back to LFL Football Night. Mitch Mortaza and Bobby Hugo. Now, Bobby, we knew these two teams were not evenly matched coming into tonight, but did you anticipate a 56-14 halftime score?
There's absolutely no excuse for Denver. We thought after their first game, they changed the whole thing around from 2017. Where in one game they gave up over 100 points, but they looked exactly the same. Their offensive coordinator, Saul Robinson, he called a bad first half. Mary Towner threw the ball 21 times. They only ran it 4 times. To hang in with a team like the talented Nashville team, you have to have a balanced offense. They didn't have it, and they're getting killed right now.
Now, I think I know the answer to this question, but I'm going to ask it anyways. But with the effort Denver placed in the first half, do you place the blame on the doorstep of the players or the play calling?
Well, the play calling. They didn't come ready to play. The game plan's got to be there. The players have to play, don't get me wrong. They have to tackle. The techniques on defense, that's a whole nother story. But the offensive game plan, there's no way they would have a chance against Nashville.
Yeah, a Nashville offense that you kept giving 15, 12 yards to pay dirt. You can't go 4 and out consistently turning it over to KK Matheny in that high-powered offense and giving them 12, 15 yards to pay dirt. You're going to pay the price, and they did in the first half. Nashville racking up an impressive 56 points as we look at the scoring. Nashville scoring on an incredible 5 touchdowns on the ground, 2 of those by the Harvard grad Jade Randall. Also Stevie Schnorr, Dominique Malloy, and Nene Gleaves adding scores on the ground. Through the air, Matheny finding Randall with her 3rd touchdown of the first half. For Denver, scoring came early, but that was it. Early on, Mary Towner connecting with Lindsay Fields on this 18-yard touchdown. Then it was to Kelly Roquet. Roquet, realizing she wasn't touched, gets up and runs it in for a 35-yard touchdown run. That brings us to our halftime score of 56-14 as we look at our stats.
Denver has to mount some kind of rushing game to take the pressure off quarterback Mary Towner. Towner is getting killed in the pocket because the Nashville defense knows there's no running game, and simply they're pinning their ears back every play. The Denver offense only has 4 first downs. They have to find a way to move the ball in the second half. And for Nashville, they continue to roll offensively with a balanced 182 first half yards.
The Nashville Knights are playing like a first-place team, while the Denver Dream try to regroup. The second half is next. Back to LFL football night for the final 20 minutes as we look at our 2 starting quarterbacks.
Mary Towner, 8 out of 21, 2 touchdowns, but she was sacked 3 times. KK Matheny looking strong, 7 out of 10, 71 yards and 2 touchdowns of her own.
A 1st and 10 as Matheny going back to work. Quick screen, looking to set up the double pass. Good read and recognition that time by the Denver defense, led by KK Phelps.
He threw it out there to Molly Richardson, the backup quarterback. I like this wrinkle they're putting in there. It was going to be a double pass, but the Denver defense looks like they came to play in the 3rd quarter.
Also, Raphael Frenchie, making an impact on that D-line, had a decent first half. They're going to need more of that pass pressure and aggressive pursuit.
Exactly right. They need pressure on Matheny, turnovers, get the ball, and they need to score quick.
Empty back set from the shotgun. That's a quick release. Jade Randall in the open field, still on her feet. Randall picking up where she left off in the first half, a 12-yard completion.
Fasten your seatbelts. KK Matheny and Jade Randall are still on fire. A crossing pattern underneath. Nobody there blocking down the field. Great design play by Nashville.
Alyssa Stongel whiffing on Jade Randall. Like I said before, it does not look like anybody on this Denver defense wants to play defense.
You got to like it, though. Seattle's offensive coordinators, Chris Michelson and Yuri Howard, they are on the gas pedal. They're not letting up.
That is a quick screen. Dominique Malloy. Touchdown, Nashville.
KK Matheny is on fire. I don't know how long you keep her in the game. You get her a ball like that, Dominique Malloy, it takes her 2 seconds to get in the end zone. 62-14. Bam, just like that.
I tell you what, Joe Montana got a lot of credit for all the yards Jerry Rice would create. That was just a simple screen pass, but nobody wants to defend. And look at the seal block by Whitney Palmer. I mean, you could line up anybody against this Olay defense right now.
It is an Olay defense. It shows you the speed of Dominique Malloy. She was in the end zone in about 2 seconds.
And that's her counterpart, Stevie Schnorr, taking it in for the 2-point conversion. And we've got the most points scored by anybody, and we're only 2 minutes into the 3rd quarter.
You talk about a team that's on fire right now. This is great for team morale for Nashville. Again, Denver is not Chicago or Atlanta, but this is great to keep the cylinders going and everything firing.
That's interesting. Mary Towner remains in the game. They're going to hand it off to Brittany Perea. And Perea losing a yard. At what point do you pull Towner? Or I think at this point, it looks like at least they're committed to her the rest of the way.
Well, I would have pulled her in the first half because you only started her. You told everybody you were going to start Perea, and you started Towner. So I would have pulled her like midway through the second corner, but you're right. It looks like they're going the distance with her.
That loss of a yard setting up a 2nd and 11. Ball at the Denver 14-yard line. Another inside handoff. Lindsey Fields only managing a yard. Look at that Nashville defense, not willing to give up an inch. So they regain the yard, but they still got a long ways on a 3rd and 10 coming up.
That offensive line of Denver just doesn't match up pound for pound against the starters of Nashville. Danielle Hawkins, Whitney Palmer. There's no way that Rachel Albrecht can block them.
No question. The physicality up front, like you said, Palmer, Schnorr, and that young lady, Danielle Hawkins, simply overpowering the offensive line for Denver.
It really shows head coach Adam Johnson where he stacks up with the powerhouse teams in the LFL. He's not even close right now.
No, they're not a competitive football team. The scheme is off. The personnel is being misused. Not a good time. And look at this. As if it wasn't bad enough for the Denver Dream fans. That ball tipped up, and Johnny on the spot. Jade Randall. You think Randall's had a big enough impact on this game?
She is unbelievable as a player. Head coach Danica Brake, she told me before the game, they really thought that Denver was going to come out running the football. When they saw they were going all pass, they moved Jade Randall, the cornerback, and look what happens. He makes an interception.
And another quick point here. You see number 18 after that interception. She didn't even leave the field. You've got to be in incredible physical shape to go both ways and register some 60 to 70 plays on offense and defense.
There's only a couple players in the LFL that can do it. One is in Atlanta, Lauren Ziegler. The other one's right there, Jade Randall. They don't want to come off the field. They're all fantasy on both sides of the football.
Well, the Nashville Knights taking over from the 11-yard line. Randall flanked out to the top of the screen. And rolling right, Matheny now going to Randall. This is like shooting fish in a barrel. Touchdown, Nashville.
You gotta love that. There they go again, a shock play after a turnover. They go back to their star receiver, Randall, and she does exactly what she did last time. Crossing pattern, she's covered, but she's one of those receivers that is uncovered when she's covered because she's so good. Brings the ball down, 6 more points for Nashville.
The Denver secondary is like burnt toast. They are simply outclassed tonight. When you look at that secondary, you've got Brittany Feathers, who's an unproven rookie, Shea Balleron, that's getting burnt all over the field, Isaiah Walker and Tierra Brown. And you could see some of the frustration from Denver surfacing as that secondary continues to struggle.
All kinds of frustration. Alyssa Strongle took a cheap shot right after the play was over at Palmer. Palmer retaliated, and then out of nowhere, Cristiano took a cheap shot at Palmer, and the refs let it go.
Yeah, I think the refs want to get out of here just like Denver does. That pass complete in the flat to Rachel Albrecht, and that'll be good for a 3-yard reception.
That is the only play that has consistently worked all night for Denver. It's the tight end release when they come in with the blitz defensive end off the edge. Mary Tanner delivers it quick, and they get positive yardage.
So a 2nd and 7, ball at the Denver 18. Let's see if they can at least get to midfield. If you're Denver, you got to win little battles, not the war necessarily. 2nd and 7, another release play, this time to number 4, Fana Medrano. Medrano, a 5'6", 145-pound tight end from Lafayette, Colorado.
Same play to the opposite side. I like it, though. That play will work. It's going to slow down the blitz. It's a quick release by the tight end. Medrano came down with it. Positive yardage again.
So more of a convertible down here, a 3rd and 5. And obviously Denver's beyond the 15-yard line, so they're going to have to go for it if this goes to 4th down. From the shotgun, Towner, heavy rush up the middle, and the ball is loose. It looked like Towner was hit by Nene Gleaves, and that's Nicole Phillips on the recovery.
Watch this blitz by Gleaves. Unbelievable speed, destroys Towner. Watch this. She has no time at all. Full blitz, head-to-head contact. Huge play by Gleaves.
I'm not sure anybody could have gotten away from that bull rush up the middle. I tell you what, Gleaves, we talked about her. There she is in the backfield. She's had a couple very strong games at the running back position, but impressive tonight. They're blitzing her off the edge, and that time up the middle.
She's a great player, and don't forget, she's a rookie. She had that one bonehead play where she didn't tag the receiver who got up and scored a touchdown. Other than that, she's playing great football.
1st and 10 handoff. Again to Malloy.
Sit the fuck down. Hey. What the fuck are you doing?
4 blows on the field.
What is he doing?
That was Ballerjon missing.
What are you doing? You fucking dumbass bitch. What the fuck are you doing?
Trying to connect twice on Whitney Palmer and whiffing on both. There's one miss, and here comes another one. Palmer just holding her back. Not sure what Ballerjon is doing there.
You know it's a bad night when you gave up 70 points, and then in fights, you can't even connect with one punch.
Personal foul, number 10 defense, half the distance of the goal line. Repeat, first down.
That is the call on Ballerjon. And it looks like the officials are going over to the Denver sideline as Ballerjon did attempt to throw a punch. In that case, they're usually removed for a series. And we've got a new quarterback, by the way. That's Molly Richardson. Be interesting to see if KK Matheny even returns to this game. A 1st and goal, Richardson! Nearly intercepted by KK Phelps. You see the immediate drop-off at the quarterback position with Richardson.
They tried the quick release. That was not a bad pass. That was just a great play by KK Phelps. Bobby Wolf was open quick, but Phelps saw the play, dropped back, and made a great defensive stop.
KK Matheny's numbers on the night as good as it gets. 10 out of 13 for 4 scores.
That's why she won the Legends Cup last year, the all-fantasy quarterback. She knows when to peak. It's in the second half of the season going into the playoffs when you have to get hot.
2nd and goal, toss right. That's Rachel Bauman. And why not? Nashville opening up its bench now, and Rachel Bauman with a 2-yard touchdown.
Another rookie who has a high ceiling, Danica Brace, really talk highly about her. She's an all-around athlete, soccer and track star. She's from Portland, Oregon. She wanted to get her in the game, and she's going to play her a lot tonight now.
Bauman and a lot of the bench expected to get a lot of PT here down the stretch. And a good opportunity to go ahead and rest up KK Matheny, Jade Randall, Danielle Hawkins, and some of the star players they're going to certainly need as they go down the stretch of this season.
Over the years, the one thing we used to get on Chris Michelson, the head coach of Seattle, for was not pulling KK Matheny out of the game late in the game when they're way up. I liked it. Danica Brace is pulling her out with over a quarter left in the game.
This looks to be a delay a game on Nashville.
Delay a game, Nashville. 5-yard penalty.
That's the earmark of a new quarterback that has not gotten a lot of work, Molly Richardson. If you're gonna poke and prod to find something to work on if you're Nashville, it's gotta be the number of penalties tonight.
This is great that Richardson is getting this kind of repetitions in an actual game. It's one thing playing quarterback in practice, but when the lights are on, when the crowd, a big crowd like tonight is here, this is where you get experience. Rather do it tonight when you're up 50 points instead of the first round of the playoffs if KK Matheny got nicked or hurt.
From the 8-yard line after that delay a game penalty, that's Richardson over the middle. A great job finding number 16, Chelsea Nicole, and converting on that 2-point conversion.
I'm going to tell you what, she was poised in the pocket, didn't fold, threw it right where you had to. Perfect pass by Molly Richardson. You got to love your backup quarterback coming in, her first series and throwing a TD pass.
And how about the effort of Chelsea Nicole to come back to the football and have the wherewithal to get her arm under the football.
Great catch, great throw. She threw it in a place that could not be picked off. Nashville lighting it up even with their second string.
So Mary Towner and this Denver offense, if they're smart, they're going to look to be more balanced in the stretch of this game. We still have 14 minutes of football.
This is gut check time. Denver's not out of the playoff picture. They might be getting blown out tonight. They're down 64, but they need a couple solid drives for their own confidence going to their next game against Los Angeles.
Absolutely. Only Austin is in a comfortable spot in the Western Conference. It is wide open for the second seed after Austin. That is a completed pass in the flat to Brittany Perea. Perea really the only bright spot of this Denver offense.
That being said, that Denver's not out of the playoff picture, you got to wonder why Adam Johnson doesn't put Brittany Perea at quarterback, give her some reps at quarterback.
I think they're going to need to really reflect, and they have a short turnaround as they've got Los Angeles next week at home. If Denver's going to make any adjustments, and they're pretty nicked up too. Nicole Curry went out early in this game. Certainly Brie Quintana is out. This is Towner throwing off her back foot, an ugly-looking pass. That intended for Kelly Roque. Towner just looks miserable in the pocket right now.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Next week, they play Los Angeles. Los Angeles has a solid defense. Their problem's their quarterback, Ashley Salerno. Nobody knows if she's going to be able to play or not. But Denver's got to be able to control the clock next week. With this offense they're running with Towner, it's not going to happen.
A 3rd and 8 from the Denver 17. Again, they're beyond the 15-yard line, so they can't punt if they wanted to. That is Perea in the backfield, a quick slant attempt again to Kelly Roque, and that was Rachel Albrecht squaring up. I'll give it to Denver. They're scrappers. They just got to translate that effort onto the football field in a more positive way.
And they need a better offensive scheme. Right there was nothing there. It was a quick post. Towner threw the ball, but it was totally covered. Even if she caught the football, they were not getting a first down.
A 4th and 8 for this Denver offense, taking a lot of time in the huddle. It's almost as if Towner's reading a book. Look, no urgency, and the clock is winding down here. They're not going to be able to get the snap off. Indeed, this should be a delay of game on Denver.
Delay of game. Offense, 5-yard penalty. Repeat, 4th down.
So now they took the delay of game. This could have been on purpose to set up a punt, backing them up inside the 15. That is Fields, another good-looking punt. And Randall mishandles it. That is KK Phelps with the recovery. Finally, a bright spot for Denver.
There's some life in this Denver team. Great punch. She gets it off way down the field. And here we go. Jade Randall, the league MVP, just simply drops the football off her shoulder pads. And KK Phelps right there.
Denver finally getting a break here. And I believe this is the first time that this offense has the ball all night on the Nashville side of the field.
You never know. There's a lot of time left. They're only down 64.
1st and 10. Ball at the Nashville 17. That'll fall incomplete. I think this Nashville defense, even their second string, has that play pretty well snuffed out.
Well, Danica Brace, I mean, she was one of the most intense players ever. Even though they're up 64, she doesn't want her players letting off. They're going to be on the gas pedal on offense and on defense.
Wow, you deducted 64 points that quick with no producer in your ear and a Florida Gator education. That's impressive.
I went to the Harvard of the South.
2nd and 10, we'll leave it at that. Mary Towner from the shotgun. Here comes the blitz and deflected. Nene Gleaves. We talk about the athleticism from Jade Randall, but if there's a rookie on this roster to watch closely, it's got to be Gleaves.
Gleaves has everything you want in a player on offense and defense. But getting back to that Denver offense, there was no reads there by Mary Towner. She just simply took the snap. She was going to throw it out there no matter who was out there, and there was nothing there.
Yeah, if Denver's going to keep the course here and stay with Mary Towner, guess what's going to happen? Everybody watches film in this league. They could see that she's physically out of shape, has no mobility, and they're going to get after her with the blitz. And you could see Nashville. It looks like they're bringing 4. That's Palmer nearly blowing up Mary Towner.
Los Angeles head coach Tui Suinoa is licking his chops when he watched this tape. He's going to be bringing the house jailhouse blitzes every play against Towner unless they change something up.
That'll bring us to the end of the third quarter. Nashville, 78 points to Denver's 14. Back with the fourth quarter.
When your number is called tonight, step up and make a name for yourself.
Think about all the people who doubt you, who say you can't, and go prove them wrong.
This is not about who left this team. It's not about who came back. It's about who's here right now.
Now we have to play like we've never played before, ladies.
This isn't just football. This is family, sisterhood. It's your life. It's how you live your life.
Look to the girl next to you and fight for your life. Fight for the girl who's sitting next to you in this huddle right now. This is all meant to be. Every single one of you is here tonight because of a purpose.
We can do this. I know we can.
This is the last time I'm going to tell you that I'm going to let you down because I will not do it again.
Let them understand that we are not here to play games with them. This is our game.
Give it everything you have because all we got is 10 minutes. That's all we got.
Back to LFL football night in the final 10 minutes. I'll tell you what, that fourth quarter video gets me pumped up every week, even in a 78-14 blowout.
That Nashville bench, they looked up at the Jumbotron, watched that video. They are fired up, all smiles.
And why not? In firm control of the Eastern Conference alongside the Chicago Bliss and looking very impressive against Denver tonight. A 4th and 10 dribbler back to Towner. And Towner with an arm into the end zone, but deflected. That was great coverage by Jade Randall.
Absolutely nothing there. Trying to go to her top receiver, Lindsey Fields. He had triple coverage back there, nothing happening.
Again, not to bury Lindsey Fields, but if that's your top receiving option, this coaching staff and scouting have got to go back to work.
They've got to put an offensive scheme together with a running game, short passing game, and mix it up a little bit.
Richardson remaining in at quarterback. A little missed timing.
Delay of game, Nashville.
Netta Carter looked to be coming around on the jet sweep. Not exactly Dominique Malloy. And just a missed timing and communication between Richardson and Carter.
That's why it's great to get these rookies in games like this, in game situations. It's not the playoffs. They're allowed to make mistakes like that. So if they have to get in the playoff game, they'll be ready.
1st and 15 from the Nashville 12 after that penalty. A deep drop by Richardson. Nice looking snap back to her. Just kind of a hot pass. Richardson not exactly having the motion of a seasoned veteran like KK Matheny. That was intended for Bobby Wolf, will fall incomplete, setting up a 2nd and 15.
He definitely doesn't have the gun of a KK Matheny. We saw it on that pass. There was no zip on it. He is strictly an emergency quarterback. KK Matheny, I don't ever remember her getting knocked out of the game. So it's probably not going to happen this year, but just in case, they're going to have Richardson ready.
A 2nd and 15 as the clock continues to run. We are under 9 minutes remaining. And if you're on that Denver bench, you want that 9 minutes to go very quickly. Time Richardson under center. Toss right. That looks to Nene Gleaves cutting back inside. That was a 6-yard carry by Gleaves and great vision to cut back to the inside.
That was a great cut. That's what I was going to mention. She had nothing on the outside, almost against the wall. She read her blocks, hugged the blocks, cut it inside for a big gain.
Looking at the Nashville huddle, it appears they've removed all of their starters. I don't see Dominique Malloy, Stevie Schnorr, Jade Randall, or KK Matheny. So in essence, this Denver defense is now going up against the 2nd and maybe the 3rd string starters for Nashville. A high snap back to Richardson. That's Gleaves. Nene Gleaves blowing up Tierra Brown.
Wow, you mentioned it. This is the 2nd and 3rd teamers. I mean, watch the block by Candy Cook. He's an all-star from your hometown, Washington, D.C., making a great outside block. And then Gleaves just destroying this defense. They don't even know if they want to tackle. I mean, they should try paintball the way they're tackling tonight.
That was Tierra Brown. LFL fans may remember last year, she laid the lumber on Jane Caldwell in Chicago. This time on the wrong side of it with Nene Gleaves. A 4th and 2 after that 7-yard run by Gleaves. This looks to be another jet sweep. This time Netta Carter getting to the edge. And that'll be enough for a Nashville first down.
What's that say? When they have their 3rd and 4th backs in here, their 3rd string line, and they're moving the ball right down the field, nobody on Denver seems to want to play football.
And it's going to get worse for Denver as next week they go up against the F-150 Carmen Bourseau. And if that's not bad enough, Nas Johnson.
Wow, you talk about a great combo at running back. I mean, that's going to be a nightmare unless they tighten their tackling up by next week.
A 1st and 10 from the Denver 12. Inside handoff. That's Nene Gleaves. Another Nashville touchdown as the Knights break the 80-point mark.
Wow, this is like trying to eat jelly with chopsticks for this Denver defense. Nobody wants to tackle her. In fact, they tried to trip her coming out of the backfield. There's no heart at all on this defense.
That is defensive coordinator Marcus Janelle.
Score at will. I thought we would keep him like the 50 at least.
Oh, he thought his defense would give up 50 points. Not exactly a vote of confidence from your defensive coordinator.
Not at all. Nene Gleaves right there with 5 touchdowns already this season. But how can your defensive coordinator expect to give up 50 and win a football game?
That's Molly Richardson taking it in herself after the errant snap. That'll increase Nashville's lead to 86-14. And we got to come up with some stuff here in the stretch run. This game is done, partner.
I'm going to tell you what, this Denver defense, man, their defensive pool has turned into a puddle. There's nobody there that wants to play football.
1st and 10, Mary Towner still in the game. That's Chris Michelson. All smiles talking to Stevie Schnorr. And as we said, he is really their offensive coordinator.
For a retired coach, he's getting real close to that bench.
Michelson inching his way in. That's a handoff to Pereira. And Pereira does not have the speed. Boy, Whitney Palmer has had one hell of a ball game coming off that edge.
Just a great athlete at defensive end, on offense at tight end also. But getting back to Chris Michelson, he was retired. How do you think offensive coordinator Jack Kiley feels? All of a sudden, the ex-head coach is inching his way back on the bench.
Make no mistake about it, Kiley is not the offensive coordinator. It is Chris Michelson. And some would argue he has even a greater influence than just an offensive coordinator. 2nd and 12 from the Denver 13. Delayed handoff to Pereira again. This time getting some positive yardage, gaining a yard. That'll set up a 3rd and 11.
I know it wasn't a lot, but did you see her jump cut? Pereira is the only one that knows how to run the football. There was nothing there. She went bam, inside, got positive yardage. They should have been doing that all night long.
And at times, Pereira looked like she could sling the rock a little bit. We listened to her in the first quarter talk about being disappointed with her passing technique in that opener versus Omaha. But we saw flashes of her being able to play the quarterback position.
He's a competitor. You saw she was really disappointed that she didn't get the start tonight.
Towner again missing a receiver. Roquet had a step on the defense. That'll set up a 4th and 11 from the 14.
Right now, Denver can't run, they can't pass, they can't stop anything on defense. Other than that, they're not a bad team.
Yeah, other than that, they'd be a playoff team. They're at the 14 here, so you hope they would punt the ball. Obviously, you've got no hopes of climbing back into this game. It's just a field position game. Get it out of your end zone, and that looks to be the case. Although I'm not sure, because Mary Towner's still at the quarterback position. But direct snap goes to Fields. No blocking up front, and no opportunity to get that kickoff.
Wow, they can't even get the punt off. This is as painful as a giraffe with a sore throat. It doesn't get any worse than this.
You could see this replay That was just a bull rush up the middle, no blocking. Michelle Look, one of the worst games I've seen a center play. I mean, they're just not physical up front at all.
Somehow this coaching staff has to rally this team because they play next week with a chance at making the playoffs.
So guess what? The Nashville offense now taking over from the 7-yard line. Ollie Richardson stays in at quarterback. Full backfield set, Netta Carter and Nene Gleaves. The gift goes to Gleaves. This is too easy. This Denver defense has given up on themselves and on this team.
Wow, what's one more torpedo in a sinking ship? Look at this, straight handoff. Up the gut. One tackle missed right there. 2 tackles missed. They're playing touch football out there.
Alicia Watson, I don't know that she's ever been involved in a tackle drill.
This is sad. Somehow they got to rally the troops. They have another game next week.
Ollie Richardson lining up now for the 2-point conversion as we've posted 92 points on the scoreboard. To the left of Richardson is Gleaves and into the flat, complete. That is Bobby Wolf making it look too easy. Keep in mind, these are second and third stringers for Nashville.
I'll tell you what, Molly Richardson does not have a gun, but she's got great timing. That ball was delivered way before the receiver cut, right on the money.
Good news for Denver. They're 4 minutes away, 4:23 from getting on a plane, going back to Loveland, Colorado, and getting ready for Los Angeles. The bad news, there's 4 minutes and 23 seconds remaining.
And you have Danica Brace and Chris Michelson, who would like nothing more than to score 100 points tonight.
Again, Brittany Perea looking good. That was a 7-yard carry. Denver, you're right. They're going to try to keep him from that 100-burger. We haven't seen that since last year, and that was also against Denver when Seattle was playing them. Seattle posted 106 points.
Unbelievable. How embarrassing is this if you're the coaching staff for Denver? The opposing team is drinking beers with the fans and taking pictures.
This has gotten way too easy for Nashville. A 2nd and 3 handoff back to Perea. And Perea breaking through arm tackles and into the open field. Another 7-yard carry for Perea. I want to go back to my earlier point. In our pre-production meeting, we met with head coach Adam Johnson. He said Mary Towner is starting. We both were baffled. We warned him that without the athleticism of Perea and the fast edge rushers on Nashville, this could be disastrous. In fact, I threw out a score. I said you could lose this game 70-6 if you're not careful. He rolled his eyes and laughed. Right now, we have a score of 94-14.
Wow, and you're right. Perea is the only athlete in the backfield. She gives you a chance. She can get first downs on the ground. She can throw it adequately. I was quite frankly shocked when she wasn't the starting quarterback.
Adam Johnson, a young head coach, completely lost. Next to his offensive coordinator, Saul Anderson. And really, their season turned around on this play. That is Bria Quintana breaking her leg against the Omaha Heart. She was their ace back and a great middle linebacker. You could say their season ended on this play.
Wow, can you speed that up? That is tough to watch. I hate seeing plays like that.
2nd and 10 handoff to who else? Number 3, Brittany Perea. And Perea will get 3 yards as Denver continues to work on this clock.
Perea is the only bright spot in this offense. Rachel Albrecht made a couple nice catches at tight end. Early in the game, Mary Towner had a couple good passes, but since then, nothing.
3rd and 7. This should take us to the 2-minute warning. Obviously, Denver in no hurry to get this play off. Yes, that officially takes us to the 2-minute warning in Nashville, Tennessee, where the hometown Knights are up 94-14. Back to LFL football night next week. Look out, Denver. You've got the Los Angeles Temptation coming into town, and hopefully the Dream are a little more prepared.
You gotta love this, though. They're both defending champs right there. They were the champs in Seattle last year. They're getting a little cocky, I think. They got to play some big boys coming up in the playoffs, and they're drinking beer and having popcorn in the stands.
That is your game MVP, Dominique Malloy. Nearly 100 all-purpose yards and 2 scores. She does not get the respect she deserves, not just from playing football, but you see that swig right out of a Jack Daniels bottle.
I like the way she drinks because she knows the whiskey doesn't have a lot of carbs. You saw KK over there drinking beer. That's got a lot of carbs.
We are digging into the vault in a 94-14 game, folks. Give us a break. 3rd and 7, as if it matters, at the Nashville 18-yard line.
They can cut it to 94-20.
That is Lindsey Fields and Brittany Perea in the backfield. Towner back to pass in the flat. That was deflected and caught by Rachel Albrecht.
Albrecht, she's got a lot of catches tonight. I like the way she plays tight end.
Now, Albrecht, I saw her at training camp, one of the better athletes on this roster. Again, it's a misuse of personnel, you know, and it starts at the quarterback position. I loved her at the center, more of a center release type athlete, but for some reason they didn't use her there. Honestly, I mean, we talk about players letting down teams all the time, not having a great performance. It's time we call out some of the coaching, and I got to tell you, partner, the coaching has been lackluster this season.
I just can't believe they came in with a game plan that they can drop back and pass every play and beat one of the best teams in the LFL. Just not happening.
That was a 4th and 3 keeper by Mary Towner. At least should take us to the end of this game, but we're going to go down to the field.
Triple digits on us is a
Kneel it.
Even the coaching staff doesn't know what to do here. How are you going to kneel it here? 102. This is the closest you've sniffed out the goal line in a long time.
And why would you kneel it? Get some points, get some momentum going into the LA game.
1st and goal from the Nashville 7. Handoff. Perea breaking through arm tackles. And guess what, folks? A Denver Dream touchdown.
I'm going to tell you what, Perea plays with heart. That was a great run. I know it's less than a minute left in the game, but we've been saying it all night. Every time she touches the football, she makes something happen.
That's it, Bobby Huco. You and I are starting the Brittany Perea Should Start at Quarterback Facebook page immediately.
We are going to get the fans behind it because that's the only spark on that whole offense tonight.
Although we're probably going to have to go to Instagram. Apparently Facebook is phasing out now.
Well, for you, it's back at MySpace.
A 1st and goal, ball at the Nashville 3. Bobby Huco going after the 44-year-old commentator. Mary Towner under center. That is Lindsey Fields. This could be the final play of the game. The 2-point conversion up the middle out of a rugby scrum. Let's see if Denver can get across. Not going to happen. Our score will remain 94-20 with a little over 46 seconds remaining. And let's take a look at the schedule remaining for Nashville. One last game against Omaha, July 7th in Omaha. And for the Denver Dream, as we talked about, next week they're home against Los Angeles, and then they go on the road to Omaha. So if they can get past Los Angeles, that Omaha game is a winnable game.
Unlike the NBA, the East is stronger than the West. At 1-3, you can make the playoffs in the West. So if you're Denver, if you win one of the next 2 against Omaha or Los Angeles, you got a good shot at making the playoffs.
Yeah, and on the other side, Nashville, they got to be a little concerned. They're finishing the season against 2 of the weakest teams in the LFL. This game, Denver, and then they'll wrap up the season against Omaha. Is that going to get them sharp enough to match up against an Atlanta or a Chicago in the playoffs?
Well, it's going to come down to coaching. Danica Brace, who's been there, all these players have been there. But you're right, they have to be playoff sharp if they play Chicago or Atlanta in a couple weeks. Right now, you can't get sharp playing against Denver because they don't know how to tackle.
The Nashville's defense, you can only play who's on your schedule, and their schedule has been soft, but when they've had to step up, they've done it. And more importantly, to your point earlier, it looks like KK Matheny is peaking at the right time. Certainly Jade Randall. The improved play of Whitney Palmer and Nene Gleaves, those are the wild cards that nobody factored. It's going to make them a tough matchup for Atlanta or Chicago.
They can go with anybody, and you're right. KK Matheny looked real sharp tonight. She looked agile tonight. She might be peaking at the right time. He keeps that team together and going.
So that'll do it for us here. The final score, Nashville 94, Denver 20. We saw Denver early, showing some flashes, but boy, their defense packed it in early, and Nashville took advantage. As we said, they now travel to Omaha. Denver will lick its wounds and go home with a battle against Los Angeles. For my partner, Bobby Huco, our producer, Brett Sachs, this is Mitch Mortaza. We will see you next week from Loveland, Colorado on LFL Football Night.